So hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with
John from Trophy Eyes.
I have some questions to say about their upcoming album, Suicide and Sunshine. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
It's been amazing, man. We had a long time off, and um, a lot of time wondering if we'd been quiet for too long, or and yeah, it's been nice to see people still care. Yeah, touching. It's been good.
Oh yeah, I mean
For
it's
sure.
it's been a minute. I know you guys had a handful of singles come out over the course of 2020 and 2021, but those didn't wind up amounting to anything. So it's awesome that you guys have another full length dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were kind of just like for fun for us, and to just to do something in between, because we couldn't really like leave our houses, or um let alone like get together and record. Our lockdown laws are pretty bad, so yeah, they would just kind of like hold everyone over, and just so we had something to do as well, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
For
Well,
sure.
the album is awesome.
Thanks
Immaculate.
very much.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so the cover art is, I mean, the meaning behind the album is the same as the meaning behind um the album art and the name. So I guess it's all kind of the same thing. But um the the meaning behind the album is my take on life, um and what life is, how rare it is that it happened, and it's kind of really, it's hard to sum up in a few words. But yeah, and the title Suicide and Sunshine is just kind of like the spectrum of life, like tragedy and good.
Mhm.
And the album art is taken as like, just a kind of like a meaningless flash in someone's day, in someone's life,
Hmm.
just a flash out of that person's time. Yeah, that's kind of all marriage together like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Awesome.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, writing process. I wrote um a lot of it at home, and which was kind of hard because um I'm inspired mostly by life stuff, just general life stuff, people, places, moments, things like that. And you really don't get a lot of that at home, staying in the same spot for a long time. So um I kind of did the best I could. I had some help with some friends as well. Fletcher Matthews. We did some sessions together as well. He's a friend of mine from Sydney, and a producer. Um, and yeah, we got the guys together, and we all went to Thailand, and we spent a month there, kind of finishing it off, and injecting the guys into those demos. You know what I mean? Injecting the guys a little bit more into, and their creative personalities into those songs. And once we were happy with kind of like what we called the meat and potatoes, like when there was a solid structure and skeleton, and when that was all written down, we moved to Bangkok and we finished it there. We finished actually like tracking everything and all that stuff and producing it.
All right. So like you said, the album was written at home. So when you weren't writing like with your producer, how were you kind of getting that motivation and finding things to write about? Because you said like a lot of it comes from the outside experiences.
Mm. Um, I had to go back onto memories and stuff that I'd had prior. Lockdown kind of ended, and I'd been writing this for years. You know what I mean? I've been writing this for a very long time. I went to the studio with like I don't know, over 30 ideas, um, kind of fleshed out ideas closer to demos. Some of them were full songs. But yeah, so I've been writing it for a very long time. So I guess the inspiration came from different things, and I had to kind of be innovative. And like I went back home to my hometown, and I went back to the house I grew up in. Even though I haven't seen it since I was about 8
Mm.
or like 8 or 10,
Hmm.
so like 20 years. But I went back there and um, yeah, had a look around, and that was mind blowing. And my town and the place where I lived, where I hit rock bottom, I stayed there a couple of nights. And yeah, I had to kind of like what do you call it? Like
You got like out of the box and like creative with ways to kind of motivate yourself and find things to write about.
yeah, it was just kind of like forcing that response from myself, putting myself in those strange situations, and doing that. And I'm lucky now that I can do that. I can just kind of just hop on a plane and go and sit somewhere and write for a little while. And I had plenty of time,
Yeah.
It did not like I was
Yeah.
doing anything in the meantime. So it
Yeah.
was yeah, I guess that's yeah.
Makes
That
sense.
sounds like really overwhelming, like mentally, because you go from, lockdown, haven't seen anyone, really strict, you can't meet up, to going to your hometown, to going to a spot where you hit rock bottom, to just kind of get emotions out of you to write about. That that's like jumping directly into the deep end. That's crazy. Did that not kind of like take a toll on you?
Um yeah, it did. It did. I didn't notice it at the time, but I was drinking a lot. Um like a lot. And I think I didn't notice how like overbearing all that was. And I don't think a lot of people do that, like someone will write their song at home in their studio, and I think going to the place is a lot more like traumatic than you think it's going to be.
Hmm.
And it's a lot more than anybody else even is going to do in the first place, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
um and I'm not saying like I'm cool or special for doing that. It's just kind of I didn't That's probably why not everybody does that, because it's insane. It's a fucking insane thing to do, to go into like your house that like they're riddled with domestic abuse and fucking like, and then you just like walk through the front door and you're like, okay, cool, I'm here now. Like as a
Yeah.
30-year-old man, like I don't know what I was thinking. I
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
like, this is gonna be fine. So that was yeah, it was a lot.
Mhm.
And I was drinking so much that I didn't know that what was going on. You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Um, I didn't know how I was feeling. But I think I was doing that subconsciously to kind of. And then in Thailand, when we were recording it, like there's just the song, like some of these songs are just awful. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
um, I had to be really really drunk for Sean to sing Sean. Like it was the producer even let me have a cigarette in the vocal booth
Mhm.
because I just wouldn't stay in there and do it.
Yeah.
I was trying to put it off. So yeah, it did. It was very mentally taxing, and I was definitely not behaving in the best interests of my health for quite a while there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, as we're talking about the album coming out and like you're out on tour, you're performing these songs, like, is it hard for you to get up on stage and like sing these songs because of
Mhm.
like the spot that you were in?
No, you've really got to think about it when you're doing it on stage, because there's two mindsets on stage.
Mhm.
Well, there's three. There's like, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't fuck up. That's the first one. Then
Yeah.
then the second one is like, like what? I mean, like, am I gonna have time to wash my shoelaces tomorrow because they're new shoes, but I spilled coffee on them? Like, you're thinking about shit like that,
Yeah.
right? And then the third one is this like flow state where you're just not on. You're
Mhm.
not even there. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of like you're in this zone and you're performing. You're like being a performer and you're
Yeah.
entertaining, and it's like you totally lose what it is that's going on. So I don't ever really have trouble with it. And you really have to stand there and think about the song when you do it. And I've done that before, like when Sean died, or when my friend Heath died. He killed himself because he lost his grandfather in a house fire. It was this whole thing, and I went to his hometown and I was playing an acoustic show there, and I got to one of my songs. It's about another one of my friends prior to that committing suicide, and um, I couldn't do it. It was just too close, and I did cry. I did cry because I was already thinking about Heath.
Yeah.
But you heal and you move on, and these things, they become easier, and the more that you do them, the less kind of emotionally taxing that they are.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes you're looking at someone, you're like, they don't know the words, but they're like singing, and like you're all over the place up there. You can't really, there's not much time for feeling the song unless you dedicate time for that. Otherwise, it's a party, and you're also like, thinking what should be in your shopping list or something,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. You're like, the song kind of takes a different meaning for you because like you don't have time to actually like think about what it means, like while you're performing it. Like it
while I'm performing, it's not that it takes a different meaning. It's just that I'm not thinking about the meaning of it. I'm moving.
Yeah, it's not top of mind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Longest to write. You know what? It's probably Sweet Soft Sound.
Okay.
We wrote that I wrote it one way, and then we wrote it another way, entirely differently. Then it was like all big and crescendo, and it turned into like a Coldplay song, just kept like growing till it was like Scientist, I think it is. No, Fix You. And the big build up in Fix You kind of thing. We were kind of emulating that. And then I was like, no, like this is just shit. Like we've done this a million times. Like, let's do something new and good and real. So like, those lyrics make me cry sometimes because it's like, it's such an important song to me. Just to be loved after a long time of kind of like, punishing yourself and stuff, and realizing, that you're in love and you are loved. Like it's such a humbling thing. It's a beautiful thing. So I really went as all in as I could, and there was no like bullshit. There was no like any line that I was like, this isn't 100. It's going to go away. Like it has to be like the realest love song you could ever write,
Mm-hmm.
And then we just settled down on this thing of like we got everyone to kind of sing the song. So there's like little voices, and they're all out of time, and like no one's really tuned. But we put them all right down, and it just sounds like you've got a busy head and you're thinking, but the top line is this calm, like something you can set your watch to. You know what I mean? Like everything's like, it just moves. It doesn't change up. It doesn't slow down. It's just a vibe the whole time. And we've never done that. Trophy Eyes is always directional. Each song is like, it's moving somewhere. And then we always throw something in there that's like fucking, like it shouldn't be there, or or we change up the time signature in a chorus or something like that. Like we've always liked to do that in much more like two conventional songs. Like I know there's a lot of genres like mathcore and whatever the fuck that kind of do that, all the time. But that's not. Yeah, we used to do that like in more, in our way. But this song just kind of moves along, and there's no surprises. It's just nice. It doesn't go up. It doesn't come down. Just So and that was hard to learn how to do that and be what's the word? Restrained, not restrained, but show restraint. Like it's hard not to just fill it up full of shit, because it was like, man, this is boring. Like there's nothing happening. And then Yeah, the more you kind of the more empty space there is in that song, you're just like, this is just a nice little thing. And it's probably one of my favorites too, to be honest. Like it might be my favorite, but I can't tell you what my actual favorite is. I don't really have one. In
Okay.
fact, like, when you listen to it from like, I hate to say this, but from my perspective, I've fucking hate it already. You know what I mean? Like I want to do something better.
Yeah, you're on to the next thing already.
And bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, you can't ever be happy with what you put out. Otherwise it's just, you want to grow, you know what I mean? And I want to, not transactionally, but I want to get closer to the idea of what I think it is the perfect thing. You know what I mean? So I'm always I look at it. It's hard to see past like the things I would have done differently now, But I'm not going to share any of those because I don't want to ruin the album for everybody. But yeah, I do like I think Sweet Soft Sound definitely took the longest to write.
All right. So how did the track list for your album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer? Did you shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
No, we picked out of the 40 songs, we picked like what we thought could have been the funnest, and we were picking with like we were like we're picking with our imaginations. We weren't listening to that song. We were thinking like, what could this be? What is a brand new, awesome, and totally different version of this song? Like, what's the most this demo could be? And that's how we had to pick, because some were more finished than others. But some tiny little 1-second ideas, or like 10-second ideas, were better than the whole demos, like whole written songs.
Wow.
And so you've got to pick it like, you're like, oh man, wait, if we do that with this bit and we put it over, like a halftime beat or like a nice shuffle or something like that, like, this melody, that could be huge. And then everyone's like, wow, okay. So that's how we picked it. And then when the songs were finished, that's how we listened to them all, and we were like, okay, this is like a journey, and we've got to arrange these songs in like a sonic kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they weren't written, as anything. And like the even the interlude, it's called Burden. Like that wasn't going to be an interlude. You know what I mean? Like we picked it because that's exactly how the demo was. And we were like, wow, that's fucking cool.
Okay.
And then we tried a bunch of things with it, and then we're like, maybe it's just a beautiful interlude. You know what I mean? Because it's an incredible piece of music, and you sit there wondering like, why didn't they make something more out of this? Like, why is this so small? But then it's like we tried, and it just never got better than what it was, which making it longer would have made it worse because it's just more of the same thing. You would have got bored. So it's like, maybe it's just that piece, and then that became an interlude, and that went into Sean. So that's kind of how it that's how it was picked. Like once all the songs were finished, then we lined them up. And to be fair though, the last song was supposed to be like a goodbye forever. Like I don't think we were going to do another album.
Oh, wow.
So Epilogue was written as a final goodbye for Trophy Eyes, like as a thank you to everybody that ever cared, you know what I mean? And as a story of the band and stuff. So it felt fitting to end the album on that, if this were to be the last one, just in case.
It's not the last one though, right? Or you guys still undecided on that?
You never know, like I'm sure we'll be around for a while. I'm sure, like I'm already writing again, and there'll be more albums, and we're all we're all feeling good, and we're back where it was pretty uncertain over lockdown, because it just, I can't really begin to explain to you how crushing it is to watch 10 years of just like work that I won't even get into explaining, but it's just so emotionally taxing can you imagine hoping with all of your might for 10 years? That's the feeling. And you just like hope, and that never goes away. You're always on the cusp of attaining that thing you're hoping for. And you work and you work and you work, and then 10 years, 10 years of that feeling is just exhausting. And then to have it, and everything that you've sacrificed, and everything you've put on the side, and then one day they just turn it off. Like the world just goes, we're shutting down.
Yeah.
And you can't you can't leave your house. And I was like, well, then I don't work if I can't leave my house. So like, yeah, it was kind of like shit. Like there goes everything. So we were kind of in this mind space of like, let's just kind of call it a day. And then I was like, well, they deserve like one, like our listeners and people that, people have trophyized tattoos. You know what I mean? Before I used to be like, wow, that's crazy, but I didn't really understand the weight of it. But now, you can still play a show to a room of like 10 people.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can be very humbling, but you're still in that room. There's 10 people. There's 2 people sitting on the back with their arms folded, and the rest of the people in that room have trophyized tattoos and they care. And you look at them and you're like, well, I'm not going to fucking phone this in. So you play harder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought like that's what that song was for those people and just for anybody that cared and all of our friends we met along the way. Like it was just a goodbye. It was a little so long and so that's why that had to go at the end. But I don't, like you never know. We could knock on wood. We could die in a plane crash on the way to UK in a couple of days. But
Jesus,
all right,
all right.
hey.
Everything's gonna be all right. But it's just
Yeah.
it's crazy to me because like obviously spoken to a lot of bands that have written the album in the pandemic, and it's like everybody was feeling that weight of like, holy fuck, like we might not ever get to do this again. And you guys were just like, yeah, it's time to call it quits. Like a lot of these bands were like, yeah, it might not happen, but we're not gonna like put that energy out there. You guys are just like, we're gonna give the send off to the fans, and if shit never opens up again, it is what it is. We did our thing.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I didn't want to write a pandemic album, and I don't know, like I was done with it as well. Like I've changed. I've had a big mindset change because like after that, you're thinking like 10 years of my life gone, and then you're like, holy shit, I just wasted 10 years of my life on that. Like I got some other shit to do. Like I've got to learn how to make wasabi in the countryside of Japan, and I've got to write for National Geographic, and I've got to be a snowboarding instructor in the Himalayas. Like like there's other shit to do, and there's so much outside of music that I care about. In fact, music might be one of the least things I care about now after having done it for so long. Like, that's a strong thing to say. That's not true, but you realize when that thing that you've been doing is taken away, then you start to go like, well, what else am I going to do? And then it's like, oh shit, anything, like everything. Like there's the world is so much bigger than we think it is. You know what I mean? It's so much bigger. Everyone goes, the world got smaller, but it's not. There's more people. There's more stories. Realize what I was doing in music is only because I enjoy the stories. I like writing stories. I like finding the stories. I like doing that. So, there's more life out there. So, that's kind of we were happy to give it up at that point. We've done our thing. Better to go out on top. You know what I mean? But why not try one more time?
True. You mentioned like there's just so much out there you want to do, and like music is at this point kind of like at the bottom. So is it the stories that is what is keeping you going? Like what is that motivating factor for you to continue to write the music, continue to go out on tour and perform? Like what is that motivating factor for you?
I think it's there's a few. There's people, there's stories, there's a chance to travel for work, and it's a chance to create. And in that chance to create, it's also a chance to be better than the last time. You know what I mean? There's a chance to grow, and that's addicting. It's addictive to make that thing better. You know what I mean? To express yourself in the way that you want, to make that piece of art that's like your piece, your defined piece. And mine's still not out. I still haven't got mine yet. You know what I mean? I'm not even sure if it's a song, but it's addicting. You've got to keep beating that. And so there's that. Yeah. And it's just the people, and it's the adventure. The adventure is the big thing for me. Like, being at home, it literally, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't be at home. I can't be stationary. Like 2 days is enough for me, and I'm ready to bounce.
Fair
Or
Mhm.
like, but you know, I could stay in like which I have done, like in Thailand. Like I'll stay for a little while in a tiny little like town, like a fishing village,
Mhm.
and you know, you learn enough Thai to get around, and you make real life friends there. And I could just sit in a shack and drink with these people and like and laugh and have a good time, and you know, like that's like I could do that for little pockets of time, but being at home and like trying to get used to like normal Western society structures and norms and um that shit just kills me. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mm. So yeah, the travel is definitely the aspect and the stories and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably the only reason why I keep doing this.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Mm.
So, how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends, dark with headphones on? Should they work out to it? What do you personally recommend?
I'm in two minds about that question. That's a brilliant question, by the way. I love
Thank
that.
you.
I wish I was asked that more often. But um, I think I'm in two minds. I think you know, navigating through a city or something like that, just um, in your everyday life, just let it surprise you. Just turn it on, and if you're not ready for it, turn it on. Like fucking blast yourself with it because it is heavy. If you like Trophy Eyes already, then you're gonna enjoy this regardless. Like this is pure Trophy Eyes.
Yeah.
Like this is more Trophy Eyes than anything we've ever done.
Hmm.
So if you it doesn't if for a fan to listen to this, I think you should just put it on yourself, listen to it all the way through, first as intended, and then you listen to it however the fuck you want. But yeah, just let it hit you. Don't prepare. Don't sit down and, you know, get ready to have this thing. Just let it rock you while you're out. Let it shock you.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I want it to be something that you have to sit down on a park bench somewhere and go, fuck,
Yeah.
what was that? Like, I want that.
Mhm.
Um, because that's the way all of my favorite music has hit me before. I've been listening to it on a walk somewhere or like going to an appointment or an interview or something like that in a city, and I've got my headphones on, and the way a city moves when you have headphones on is different. That's when it starts to breathe. That's when it's like it really becomes something, you know.
Yeah.
That's when music really hits. So yeah, I hope that effect happens the same way all of my favorite albums have hit me. I hope that happens. So yeah, just let it happen to you wherever you are at the time when it comes out. Plug it in and press play. Or a good alternative would be to sit on a train and just look out the window,
Mhm.
just of any train, and yeah, sit on the train, look out the window, headphones in. Doesn't matter what quality the sound is, no one cares. Like you could listen, like unless you're listening to it out of your actual phone, don't do that. That's annoying as shit.
Don't do that shit, Shane.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I may or may not have listened to some of this record out of my phone. I was on the move today.
Fucking knew it.
that's insane. That's insane. You can't.
Right?
I just
But
like I have so much to get done in a day, and it's like I can't just park myself in front. Like this fucking record was long, man. Like
I respect the honesty, to be honest, man. I appreciate that. But listen to it with on the earphones next time, maybe, or don't.
Yeah.
Who cares? But um, yeah, as long as like I don't think sound quality really matters that much. As long as it's just on a good pair of headphones
fair enough.
or like some kind of speaker or something.
Huh.
All right.
That's interesting to hear because we talked to a lot of bands and artists who are like, get your best speaker, get your best headphones because we put a lot of, little hints and little things just decorated inside the music. And
Uh,
to hear you say like, oh, it doesn't matter, just put on some headphones, just kind of listen to it. You're not really pushing for people to kind of dig into the music and catch little Easter eggs that you put into it, I guess.
well, I think that comes with time, and if it's your favorite one, like don't go in there trying to listen to all that shit the first. Like just have the experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's fucking insanity, man. You can't sit there and being like, "Oh, I have that little synth that only happens once in the thing." You're gonna miss the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just it doesn't matter. Just sit back, and the song will happen. And and then there's time for that stuff later on when the meaning makes sense to you, and you have put your, you know, you've attached that moment that you had with it to that song. You know what I mean? Like that's the most important thing. It's like when a baby duck or a baby chicken or something is born, and the first thing it sees is imprinted on it, and it believes that it's that thing. Like you're imprinting this feeling you're going to have with this song for the first time. It's your introduction. It's your handshake. It's you know what I mean? It's your first impression with this song.
Yeah.
So don't bastardize it by listening for like tricky little things I put in there or whatever.
Yeah.
Just have a listen and let it affect you, and have a moment. I think that's way more important. Moments are so much more important than effort or any of the skill or any of the, like, you know, the lore behind any of the songs. Just have a feeling. That's all I want you to do, because that's all we can have, you know.
Totally agree.
Absolutely. You're completely right. I've never really thought about it, but the first time I've listened to like the opener of an album, I can remember exactly where I was. I can remember the headspace I was in, just taking in the new, you know, art that was put out. And if I was just trying to pay attention to like little Easter eggs that someone had put in it, I would have just completely wiped that and been like, oh my God, wait, I missed something. Rewind it. You know, I missed.
Yeah.
Like, you're completely ruining the experience. You're completely right.
Yeah. You can't. The more you dissect something, the more you know about something, the magic goes. You know, that's and any songwriter will tell you. I mean, maybe not any songwriter. I'm 31 and I'm jaded, and you know what I mean. I've been touring for a long time, and but I feel like the more you dissect something, the less impressive it gets. But or you just kind of lose the magic with it. You get closer to that thing, like you get closer to of an understanding of how those things work. And I mean, that's funny that I say that, because usually when I find that stuff out, it becomes even more beautiful. But I think, yeah, for some reason, music is just kind of, it got tired of me because I do exactly that, because I dissect it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah. So you got to be careful when you're hearing a song. Just let it happen.
Exactly.
I even find that from like my day job is artist managing. My free time is this, and I listen to a lot of music like with that lens on, of like the critical lens, and it's just like at this point, I was talking about it last night, it's just so hard for me to like enjoy music for what it is, because like I've always got this lens on of like I have to think about it like this, like
dissecting it
as a piece of art. You know, you end up looking at it as like, and if you in your job, like, you know, if you know the band, you know, then you know, like, you've done your research, you know what they're like, and you start thinking, in your like the mental images you get, it is like, oh, they did this, and then and they've gone and done this, or they must have done it like this, and you start making up. Yeah, it's crazy. That ruins any chance of enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And even if you're not enjoying it, if you hate it, even like if it gives you discomfort, or if it's like, you know, makes you happy or it makes you sad or whatever the fuck it makes you feel, like you're not allowing yourself that chance to get that, which I think is, you know, I think that's part of why, because that's how I listen to music now.
Yeah.
I listen to a song and I'm like, they've done that. Like, I'll have that for me, and I'll do that another time and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
absolutely. So this question should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Flash of light.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Nice.
I like that a lot. Fuck with that. That's good.
Well, it was going to be that's what it's all about. Like the or flash of color, but I went with flash of light, so I'd start so. But that was what the album name was going to be. Yeah, I was trying to sum up like what a life is, and eventually landed on suicide and sunshine. But like, it's kind of like a metaphor for the spectrums of the polar. Yeah, but yeah, flash of color, just because of like this. That's what all of this is.
So are you able to talk about any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
Challenging moments in the making. Yeah, like, you know, obviously there was the Sean song that was that was pretty hard to sing. I cried a lot when I was singing it, and it was just ugly, ugly time. And yeah, going home, that was really hard. Uh, yeah, that was pretty difficult. There was yeah, some shit I didn't really want to dig up while I was there.
Yeah.
But didn't really have the choice. And then, being away from the love of my life for 2 months, that kind of stinks. And you know what? Andrew left Pocket, our guitarist. He left in the middle because he said he has a baby now, and he he didn't have the time. He said he didn't want to miss anything that the he didn't want to miss anything with his daughter ever, you know.
Yeah.
So he just couldn't bear to do it. And we were like, yeah, we totally understand that. I can't even imagine what that kind of feeling is like. So I was like, yeah, like so he left Trophy Eyes, but so we decided that he was going to come to Thailand for a little bit of the writing. I think it was like uh like 2 weeks, I think it was. Um, so he came, and then when we wrote what hurts the most, we wrote that in a totally live setting. Um, I was um, I was mic'd up in the booth with an acoustic guitar, which you could hear through my vocal mic, and then Blake was next door in the drum room, and then all the other boys are sitting there plugged in to the DI with bass and guitars, and we all wrote it like live, like a jam session. I was like, yeah, I've got this idea, like let's build on that, and we did, and it was just like so exciting and so like liberating to do that because people don't do that anymore. Like you write, like I could, like that's probably why I hate music. Not hate music. That's why I don't enjoy music a lot anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is because the way music's written now. Like it used to all feel like that, but now it's like you sit in a room with like a producer from LA, and they go like, "Oh, I like that riff," and then they like put some production on, and like, "Can you just drop some lyrics in there?" And then you're like, "Cool," and like, "Cool, man, that's a cool song." And then you're like, "Okay, I'll go." And then you don't ever do anything with that song anyway. You know what I mean? Like, and they're just looking. That's not special to them that day. It's not significant. There's nothing significant about it. It's just bullshit. And you're just generating shit to like. It's like playing a scratch off, or it's playing a lottery. Like you spend all that money in that 1 in a million chance of getting it big, and that's how they see you. You could be the lottery, or you could be another wasted scratch off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to have written it like that in that room, again with all the guys together, it was just so heartwarming. And then when Pocket left, that was his official last day in Trophy Eyes. So when he left, it was just like lots of tears,
Yeah.
and just like just genuine feeling, genuine hurt, and acceptance and excitement for him. It's just I don't know what that feeling was. I can't really put my finger on it. It's a mix of a lot of different emotions, and from seeing him every day, for 90% or 80% of the year for 10 years,
Yeah.
and then I'll likely see him at events now, like special events, Christmas or something like that, and that hurts. That really hurts, and it's such a big part of your life, like, and in such formidable years too, like formative years. Your early 20s until your 30s. That's really when you turn into like an adult man. Like your 20s, you're still 15 the whole time. And then when you turn 30, it takes like 2 months and you go, oh shit, I'm a fucking grown up adult man. Like, so, you know what I mean? And I spent those years with him, and that was a big learning curve, and we experienced the world together. So when he left, yeah, that was very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a very long answer to your question, but that was super hard.
Yeah.
But there was also like that was the recording in the live session. That was a positive challenge which was just super rewarding emotionally and fulfilling. And that was great. Yeah, that was challenged because we hadn't done that in a long time. That's how we used to write everything.
Wow.
But we kind of stopped doing that in the first album, pretty much.
Mm.
And then we kind of wrote in like sessions after that. But yeah, this was like going right back to the old days. It was fun.
It's awesome.
Good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So for this question, since you're on tour, we have to ask, what's been your go-to snack when you're at a gas station for a rest stop?
That's so usually it's Cool Ranch, Doritos, peanut butter M&Ms, share size, and a Coke, just like an original cold Coke, and a packet of Camel Crush. That's my favorite shit. And then recently, I will I'll get the Yumi crawler, the Nightcrawler eggs. Like sour worms.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And they have the that's one version of them is in egg form. It's like a little candy layer on the outside of the gooey center, and they're so good. You can't really find them everywhere. But on this tour, I'm kind of, I don't know, everything's kind of too salty for me, and because I haven't been to the States in a long time, it's all the flavors are so much more intense. It's so much more, and I always feel like, we'll stop somewhere and I'll get a burger, and then we'll stop at a gas station and I'll look at them and be like, I don't think I can do that. You know what I mean?
Too much salt.
Too much salt, too much sugar.
Like, so sweet.
Yeah, and they're the main ingredients of the things that you're eating as well.
Yeah,
kind of crazy. Like that's the main thing. Yeah, so I don't know. I've been pretty well behaved. I have had some big nights on this tour, but snack wise, I think I bought one bottle of Sprite and one small packet of Cool Ranch this whole tour.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
That's a good one.
Thank you.
The band? I don't know. I want to say something that I love. Something fine dining. Or maybe something, but it's not. You know what it is? It's honestly what it is a plate from Golden Corral.
Okay.
Mixed up of shit. You've got the two Italians, so there'd be spaghetti and some awful lasagna.
Oh.
You've got Josh, who's like Brazilian, so there would be or Portuguese, I'm sorry. He's Portuguese. So there'd be maybe some grilled chicken or something. And then you've got Winnie, who's just Aussie. Jeremy. So I don't know what that would be. It would just be like potatoes and beans, or it would just be the scrappiest plate of, just something you really can't take seriously, or even that looks appealing. That's what it would be. And, and instead of a fountain drink, it would just be straight liquor. And I think, and then you'd finish it off with a cigarette. I think that would be the meal.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Sounds
locked
good.
in. All right, that's perfect.
Sorry, Golden Corral, but Golden Corral is so awful. It's insane.
It is.
I've never been to a Golden Corral, but I did wind up outside of one with a flat tire for a couple hours.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, so you're lucky you didn't eat there, because it would have made that experience even worse.
Yeah, their rolls are good though.
Yeah, we used to sit there and see how many plates we could eat, just like eating, like, ironically, for some stupid reason, like when I could do that to my body, like it was funny. We were like, eating at Golden Corral is very funny, and like we'd have 9 plates and then like try.
Yeah.
And then so I think that you've got to consider that when you think about my analogy, because you have to know that Golden Corral is dreadful.
Oh, it's the worst.
And that's why I would
great.
be trophy eyes. Yeah.
All right. So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Damn, I hate this question. So I just don't. I love food. Like I love food so much. If you asked me just before I came to the States, it would have been like country fried steak and and good tacos and blah 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 blah, because I hadn't had it in 3 years, and it was like the only cuisine that they don't make well in Australia. And my girlfriend's Mexican, so I could get Mexican at home. Like, but I couldn't have proper American. I'd be like barbecue and shit. But I've been eating that since I've been here, so I think I think a good piece of steak, not like Wagyu, not I think like a good dry aged T-bone steak, 500 grams, something stupidly big, with mashed potatoes and asparagus. And my drink would just be water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
Sounds good.
But it has to be cooked by someone who knows what they're doing. In fact, I'd be like, can I please do it? Oh, and I'd probably ask if I could still fit it in. I'd probably ask for ragu with pappardelle, fresh pappardelle pasta.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'd ask if I could cook it though as well.
Oh yeah,
Sounds good.
because if someone hands you a well done steak before you're about to go on death row, damn.
Just kill me now.
I'm not the only one dying that day. I'm just saying, fuck that shit. Damn. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Ooh. I'm just kind of going through all the fictional worlds. Hyrule would be cool. From Zelda.
Mhm.
I forget what the city's called, which is really bad of me, but what's it called? But the Judge Dredd universe, the city, the mega city, that would be cool. Also, Fallout 4 or Fallout 3, sorry. Like I know that's pretty dismal, but
Yeah.
it's cool. I love like post-apocalyptic survival. I'm not like a huge zombie guy, but I love like have you seen The Road or read the book The Road?
I have not. What is it about?
It's so fucking sad, but it's like which sounds weird why I would want to live there, but it's just so interesting to me. Like it's some explosion, or it might be a meteor or whatever, but it's it causes like a nuclear winter, and this guy has to survive, like, or try to survive with his son. And there's like raiders and there's cannibals and there's all these kind of crazy shit, and it's just like anybody that crosses you is like trying so desperately to survive. And I just feel like, anyway, I'm kind of talking about this movie for some reason, but yeah, some kind of like post-apocalyptic thing would be cool. But otherwise, like Hyrule probably from Zelda would be really nice.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, or you know what? There's another game called Outer Wilds, where it's like a little like universe, like a little galaxy explorer thing. You get to fly around and like see all these different planets, and I'd do that.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I have not of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
What's my favorite color?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're gonna think someone asked me this when I was working a bar job, and I was like, when I told them, they were like, "Are you a fucking serial killer?" I was like, "No," but I think it's white.
Okay.
I think my favorite color is white. Like it just like it looks clean, it's crisp, and it's just, I don't know, I just love it. Like I always get called out for only ever wearing white shirts. Like I'm legitimately Hank Hill. Like I wear blue jeans and white shirts. Like all the
fucking Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
I went as him as to a Halloween party once, And everyone was just like, you were just dressed as yourself. I was like, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, just wear a white shirt, a watch, and blue jeans like everywhere I go.
That's word.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
so I love white, but you know what? I do love like old like naval like prep brands and colors and like sailing clothes and stuff like that. Like I'm in love with like navy blue, white, and red together. Like those things just like they do something to my brain. I just love them. That's why I wear a lot of polo and I love a lot of um like maritime watch bands and stuff like that. Like or sailing clothes are normally red, white, and blue. So I really like that. Um but yeah, I think my favorite of all of them would be white.
Fair
Okay.
enough. All right.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Um I mean, of course, Suicide and Sunshine comes out on June 23rd. So you know what? You don't have to buy it if you don't want to. It's coming out on Spotify. Like, just listen to it there. But I mean, if you bought it, that would be cool too. This is the worst plug in the history of plugs. I don't know. Yeah. You know what? Just if you're listening to this because you came here to listen to what I'm talking about, just I wanted to say thanks for everything. I appreciate your support, and you're an important figure in my life, much more than you think. So, thank you for everything.
All right. Well, thank you for sound. It's been John from Trophy Eyes, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.